So, we will be talking about the gender equal society, the human rights of men and women. We will be understanding and deepening more on what gender equal society is and how it will affect us. So let's start. Our objectives for today will be defining gender equality, society, and the combination of these two, the gender equal society, their main issues, their importance, ideals, and aims. What do you mean by gender equality? Gender equality is the equality of men and women and the right to enjoy equal conditions, realizing their full human potentials to contribute to and benefit from the results of development and with the state, recognizing that all human beings are free and equal in dignity and rights. This is according to the Republic Act number 9710. So gender equality is inherently connected to sustainable development and is very crucial to the realization of human rights for all. The root cause of gender inequality is the role society allocates to women and men. The Philippine government adopted SDG 5 to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. So this implies that women and men, girls and boys, enjoy the same rights, resources, opportunities, and securities. It does not require that girls and boys or women and men be the same or that they be treated exactly alike. Okay? The main issues of gender equal society. The first one would be the increased gender representation or gender balance. We refer to a situation where both males and females have equal opportunities and access to things in all the institutions of the society. To be specific, religion, economy, education, culture, and politics. The second issue is about the violence against women, which is socially and culturally built hierarchy between the genders that holds certain power relationships. Any power relationship is deviated by definition. For example, one of the subjects of the relationship has power and the other one does not. Usually, men are socially regarded as being of higher value. This asymmetrical situation is shown in numerous areas of social life and can lead to violence, whether it be physical, verbal, or psychological. The third issue is about sexual harassment. This is utilizing of explicit or implicit sexual overtones, counting the unwelcome or inappropriate promise of rewards in exchange for sexual favors. Sexual harassment includes a range of activities, from verbal transgressions to sexual abuse or assault. The fourth issue is about the women's health. The health of women and girls is of particular concern, since in many societies they are impeded by discrimination, which rooted in socio-cultural factors. For example, women and girls face increased vulnerability to HIV or AIDS, and this isn't just about being free of illnesses, but also having access to reasonable measures of living, housing, food, decent work, as well as suitable level of medical assistance so that we can develop our full potential as individuals. The fifth issue is about the wage gap. This is the average difference between the remuneration for men and women who are working. Women are for the most part considered to be paid less than men. And the last issue would be about the work-life balance. Women increasingly share the provider role with men. However, there has not been a similar change within the distribution of domestic work. So for that reason, women with both roles, productive and reproductive, work more hours than men, get less rest, and are burdened with an overwhelming workload that puts their health at risk and limits their chances of developing a professional career. We must then reflect upon these issues and devise policies aiming to balance work and family life to overcome gender disparities so that both men and women may have access to a full family life, and a professional career. So let's proceed to society. Society is about people that are involved in persistent social interaction or a huge social group sharing in the same spatial or social territory, regularly subject to the same political authority and dominant cultural expectation. So gender equal society is a society in which both men and women as equal. They are given equal opportunities to participate voluntarily in activities at all levels as equal partners and should be able to enjoy political, economic, social, and cultural benefits as well as to take responsibilities equally. A society where men and women can mutually take part in activities according to their individual characteristics without being confined by gender, which is a social and cultural constraint. What happens if you put a child in front forefront of an act of sexism and gender inequality. According to the latest UN report on the UNDP, a development program on the wage gap between women and men, there is currently a wage discrimination between men and women in all countries. For the same amount of work, women get paid on average 35% less than men. This is what Anuradha Seth called the greatest theft in history. But what are children's reactions to this sexist injustice? Now let's find out with this Christmas experiment.
Ciao.
Come ti chiami?
Anna.
E tu?
Federico. Rita Aurora. Bruno. Stefano. Claudia.
Da grande cosa vuoi fare?
L'artista perché io sono brava a colorare. Sono brava a disegnare. La chef. Il barbiere. Il muratore. La ginnasta. Veterinaria. Pirata.
Oggi ho un lavoretto per voi.
Un lavoretto? Un lavoretto, wow!
Avete lo stesso numero di palline per fare lo stesso identico lavoro. Cioè...
Addobbare l'albero!
Bravi, siete pronti?
Sì! Sì! Sì!
Via!
Grazie. Finito. Finito.
Vi meritate una ricompensa. Chiudete gli occhi. E apriteli. Siete soddisfatti?
Io sì, molto. Io no. Che a noi arrivano qua e a me qui. Noi ce l'ho poche. Perché?
Perché sei femmina.
In che senso?
Perché sei una donna. Non sei d'accordo?
No, non ha senso. Non è giusto.
Perché?
Perché abbiamo messo le stesse palline. E io gli ho aiutato e ho messo la pallina a posto. Io e lui abbiamo fatto lo stesso lavoro. E 10 a 10. Lo stesso lavoro. E le dobbiamo avere allo stesso punto. No, devo un po' dare qui. Alla mia amica. Sì. Sì. Sì, vai. Allora va bene. C'è paura. E quante ne stai prendendo? E mi servono. Devo fare interlinguali.
Now you see, at such a young age, they managed to see that women and men should be equal, especially when they are doing the same amount of work. Now let's proceed to the gender equal society and its importance. The overall objective of gender equality is a society in which women and men enjoy the same opportunities, rights and obligations in all spheres of life. Within the context of population and development programs, gender equality is critical because it will enable women and men to make decisions that impact more positively on their own sexual and reproductive health, as well as that of their spouses and families. However, it is important to acknowledge that where gender inequality exists, it is generally women who are excluded or disadvantaged in relation to decision making and access to economic and social resources. Therefore, a critical aspect of promoting gender equality is the empowerment of women, with a focus on identifying and redressing power imbalances and giving women more autonomy to manage their own lives. This would enable them to make decisions and take actions to achieve and maintain their own reproductive and sexual health. Gender equality and women's empowerment do not mean that men and women became the same, only that access to opportunities and life changes is neither dependent on nor constrained by their sex. Is gender equality a concern for men? This view has contributed to the recognition that women are, as it were, ones who will benefit from a more equal society. In reality, also men benefit from gender equality, as they as well face gender-specific issues such as lower life expectancy, bad health, lower education levels, and rigid gender standards. It is fundamental that both women and men are mindful of the benefits that gender equality brings to them as people and as individuals of communities and social orders. It is additionally true that we can only succeed through the cooperation of both men and women. Now let's see the reactions of these children about women and men's equality.
¿Vas a responder las preguntas?
Entre cuando no sean difíciles.
男人和女人应该挣一样多的钱吗？
Are there jobs that women cannot do?
¿Hay algún trabajo que los hombres hagan mejor que las mujeres?
No.
هل يجب على المرأة أن تكسب مال؟
¿Crees que los hombres son mejores líderes?
No.
Are there any jobs men do better than women?
Yes.
When? Example?
Politics. Usan martillos.
Ajá.
Usan las tijeras. Politician. I don't know much about them. I don't even know what a politician is.
Na sua opinião, homens são melhores líderes?
Não, acho que mulheres são mais líderes que melhores.
Would you want a man or a woman to be your boss?
Depends. I don't really mind. I don't care.
A ver, cuéntame.
Mujer.
Båtarfärg.
¿Mejor que las mujeres?
因为他们不有一样钱不好。
因为他们如果不挣一样多的钱不好，是吗？
We're just the same. It's just gender difference. It's not anything serious. It's just being a girl or a boy. I don't think it changes anything.
But the lives of men are just as unequivocally impacted by gender as those of women. Societal standards and conceptions of manliness and expectations of men as leaders, husbands, or sons create demands on men and shape their behavior. Men are as well frequently expected to concentrate on the material needs of their families instead of sustaining and carrying roles assigned to women. The assumption and common practice that women and girls look after the home and the family may be a persistent and exceptionally real generalization that not only discriminates against women but limits men's interests and association inside the family and society. Moreover, it underscores that gender equality is concerned not only with the roles, duties, and needs of women and men, but also with the interrelationships between them. Our last objective on the gender equal society will be about the ideals and aims of gender equal society. So the ideals and aims consist of the establishment of human rights, the maturation of democracy by participating in the policy decision-making process, greater and deeper awareness of gender-sensitive perspective, the creation of new values, and contribution to the global community. So for the first ideals and aims of the gender equal society would be the establishment of human rights. By guaranteeing life, liberty, equality, and security, human rights protect people against abuse by those who are more powerful. It would be impossible to create a society where women and men are free from violence, slavery, and discrimination. So these are the reasons that people needs to be educated, to let them know that they can own a property, that they have the right to vote and to earn a fair and equal wage, where people can be independent in any field of society, to be proud of themselves and are respected and regarded as individual beings. The second ideals and aims of the gender equal society would be the maturation of democracy by participating in the policy decision-making process. All people have the right to participate in and access information relating to the decision-making processes that affect their lives and well-being. Rights-based approaches require a high degree of participation by communities, civil society, minority, women, young people, indigenous people, and other identified groups. The third ideals and aims of GEF would be greater and deeper awareness of gender-sensitive perspective. Gender awareness raising aims at increasing general sensitivity, understanding, and knowledge about gender inequality. So because of this, we must endeavor to achieve equality in reality by raising people's awareness and their sensitivity to the issue. The fourth ideals and aims would be the creation of new values. This is about giving something valuable to receive something else that's more valuable to you. It may be how you can live out your values or achieve goals through finding new ways of solving problems currently at a deadlock according to the existing logic, meant to choose various ways of living and both men and women to enjoy higher standards of living. And the last ideals and aims of GES would be the contribution to the global community. So the status improvement of women needs the effort to solving problems at a global scale, such as those concerning poverty, population, and environment, and that the improvement of women's status itself depends on the solution of global. So I hope you learned something from my topic for today, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you for listening.